Good morning. Happy Thursday. It's almost Friday again. Gosh, it's so wonderful, isn't it? And time changes this weekend. I mean, didn't we just change the time? Why does time fly by? I mean, it's really true. Come on, babe. I don't know. Charlie's taking us on an adventure back here in Ivyland. Ivyland. This is not my yard. That tree, it's gonna die. It's gonna die. Oh, it's all the way up. It's gonna choke out that tree and die. Yep. But it's not my tree. It's not my yard. I'm just walking through other people's yards. And yes, because they let me. It's like a lawnmower crank sticking out of the tree. Maybe it was part of a swing. Do y'all see it? Ooh. Grown into the tree. That's funny. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say just that quick. Dang flabbit. Well, one thing is Penny. You know, I always have to be very cautious with her because Penny will bark and bark and bark. And if anyone tries to reach down at her to pet her, she snaps at them. She's never bitten anyone, but she snaps at them. So I'm always very cautious with her. And then even after, like, not yesterday when Trina came by, but the time before, because Trina learned, she barked and barked. I told Trina, I said, just ignore her, because ignoring her calms her down. And then, if you're paying attention to Charlie, she gets jealous. And then she comes to you, right? I said, but you still got to be careful because she's skittish. So, you could be letting her smell your hand and she's fine and you could pet her. And then the next second, she's going to be snapping at you. She was laying in Trina's lap, okay? She had gotten so comfortable that she went over in her lap. Trina was petting her. All of a sudden, Penny just starts looking up at her and she snapped at her. So I just have to be very cautious with Penny because I don't know why she's this way, but I do it to protect her as well as the person, right? Well, in saying that, once she gets used to you, she's fine. You know, she was never that way with my mother or my father. I went and picked her up from my friend who was getting rid of her, and she treated me that way. I mean, you know, she was barking and growling, and Susie picked her up and handed her to me, and I was like, is she gonna bite me? She was like, no. I said, okay. So we walk out and get in the car. You know, she just sat there and stared at me all the way back to Mom's house, and she never acted that way with my parents, either one of them. Now, she did my brothers. She did sometimes with Jenny. Not often, but sometimes. But, yeah, if she's not used to you, she's just, you know. Well, she's befriended Joan next door. Because Joan took the time, sees her every day just about. And she talks sweet to her. And she wouldn't try to pet her. She would just talk sweet to her. And then she tried to pet her. And Penny kind of snapped at her. She pulled her hand back. And we kept doing this. Now she runs over to Joan, wants to jump on her, be her best friend. She does it with a lady who works at the shopping center. That lady, her name's Kim. I have so many friends named Kim. Anyway, she works at like a salon distributor's store. You know, it's not Sally's, but it's kind of like Sally's. Anyway, I told her, I said, you know, she's snappy. She's a snapping turtle. So just be careful. She completely ignored her. She focused on Charlie. She petted Charlie. Penny's barking. All of a sudden, Penny stops barking like, wait a minute. She's ignoring me. What? I don't like that. I want to invoke fear, and she's not afraid of me. So Penny kind of stopped barking at her. Kim still didn't talk to her. She kept focusing on Charlie, which Charlie, that's his girlfriend. I mean, he's got so many girlfriends. But Kim's definitely one of his girlfriends because he pulls so hard to get to that store. It's like he knows she's there. It's like he smells her from the parking lot. He knows she's there. And then they both walk up to the door and they just stare in, waiting to see if Kim's there. And I'm like, honey, Kim's not here today, or I don't see her, you know, and I have to pull them away. It's very sweet. But anyway, Penny went through that a few times with Kim, of Kim ignoring her, not talking to her. Penny runs over to her. Kim continues to ignore her, right? She's a dog person. She gets it, right? She continues to focus on Charlie. Penny laid down on her side and rolled over, which is a very submissive move. Then Kim petted her. She has never snapped at Kim. So I say all that to say, if you have a dog like this and they're snappy, and try the ignore thing with people. Ask them to ignore her or him because they are afraid, so they are trying to make others afraid. I'm like, honey, nobody's afraid of you, but you know, I don't tell her that. Anyway, all that to say, yesterday, she's also this way with other dogs, right? She wasn't this way with Charlie. They were best of friends. I mean, it's like they knew that they had to be.
Get him, Charlie. Get him, Charlie. Get him.
Well, we've been letting Penny and Rosemary meet through the fence. Penny would bark and growl and do her little scratch-off thing because she's so intimidating. Yesterday, I was like, okay, we'll put Penny down, because I would usually just pick Penny up if we were out there together. So I put Penny down, and y'all, they started playing. So I took a little video, and I'll insert the video. I'm gonna add music to it and take out our talking, because I don't know if my neighbor wants, I mean, we weren't talking about anything, but you know, I'll take that out and add a little music. But it was so cute. Penny was so excited. She got to play.
Stronger too. None of them will ever love you the way I do. It's me and you. And as the years roll by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny, 'cause you've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me, 'cause you've got a friend.
And then, so after the time with Trina, and then after the time with Rosemary, these dogs slept for a few hours last night. It was glorious, and I got to paint my side door. I've got to go back and trim some things up because last night when I scraped the paint off the windows, I got a little excited and scraped a little paint off the trim. But it looks good, and it's very farm country green, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it's not John Deere green, but I think people used to paint farmhouse doors green, didn't they? Anyway, I like it for now. I paint my door all the time, so it could be a different color come summer or fall because I like to paint my doors. It's like adding a splash of color. And when you use one of these resin paints, I think Dixie Belle, and I can't remember the name of the paint Sharon uses, Farmhouse Traditions, something like that. And then I use Rethunk Junk. They're self-leveling paints that when you, now I don't know about Dixie Belle, but I know Rethunk Junk, and I think it's called Farmhouse Traditions, I'm not sure. They're self-leveling, meaning you don't see the brush strokes in the paint, so it gives it a nice look. So if you're gonna paint a door, I would use a resin paint like that, because I'll tell you, the paint that I got the first time in that 1980s neon green, it was just like a satin paint, and you could see the brush strokes. It was too shiny for me. Even though it was just a satin, which satin's not supposed to be that shiny. I think it was satin, or it might have been eggshell? I don't know what it was. Anyway, I asked him for the equivalent of door paint, and this is what he gave me. And it was too shiny. So anyway, I'm just happy with everything about the door right now. So I gotta go pick up poop. I'll be back. In other news, I talked to my friend Mitzi last night, and she told me of a story. I was telling her about the guy that was rolled up in the the rug, whatever. She was like, you texted me that, and I was like, look, I talk to so many people in a day, I can't remember who I talk to and what I say to who and what anybody says to me. Honestly, between messaging and texting and phone calls, I have no clue what I tell anybody. Yeah, but she told me of a story. I don't know if this is from where she lives or if she just heard the story or if it was near her or whatever. But this lady's husband went missing, and she filed a missing persons report. I guess the police or the sheriff went out to, look for him and search through the house, I guess. I don't know why they would search through the house, but maybe they did. I don't know. But they searched all the property around them, missing person reports, the whole thing. Couldn't find him. A few weeks later, she went and opened one of her closet doors in her home and discovered that he had unalived himself in the closet. I said, well, I need Botox. I'm just kidding. I need Botox in my head. I'm just kidding. I won't get. I might. Not right now. I ain't got money like that right now, but anyway, back to the story. I said, what? Wait a minute. How did she not smell that? Because a decaying body is a bad smell. I know decaying animals are bad. I've heard decaying humans are worse. So what? She was a hoarder, which is a terrible mental illness. It's a terrible mental illness. But apparently there was just pig trails. Hi, can we go, please? Come on. Y'all been standing smelling of that little spot on the road long enough. She had little pig trails throughout the house. And there was so much junk and crap and smells of probably animal feces and whatever that she didn't smell it. I hear geese flying. Oh, it's only 2. I love them. I like when they fly over. They mate for life, which I think is so sweet. Come on, let's go. And it's so sad when one of them loses their mate. I don't think they ever pick up another mate. They stay single. Anyway, my grandfather died in, I think it was 1967. It was January of 66 or 67. I was born the end of 64. So I was like 2. So I never really got, hi, can we please go this way? Thank you. So I never really got to know him, but where was I going with this story? Oh, my grandmother never remarried, and she was in her 50s, I think, when he died. She could have, but she just didn't. But when I was 7 or 8 years old, I was young, very young, and she brought this man to the house, to our house. I asked if they were going to get married and have babies. I thought it was a valid question. Y'all, I gotta go to work and we're just standing here. Good night. Just standing and staring. And of course I'm talking, so I'm not paying attention. So it's not really their fault, because I need to pay more attention, right? Anyway, apparently she said that scared him off. I was like, well, if that scared him off, you didn't need him anyway. I say that as an adult. Here's the door, you know, with the glass closed. It's hard to see because it's got a reflection on it. Oh my God, these dogs. These poor abused dogs. All right, I'm gonna get them back in. I gotta stay focused so I can go to work, so I'll be back. Hello. Happy Thursday afternoon. It's been a glorious day. It's been raining all day. Not all day, but most of the day. Gosh, I hate when people blow their horn. It wasn't me, but it scared me anyway. Oh, scared me half to death. Y'all, I was driving home Tuesday from here at work, and I was like, why can't I see? Why are my eyes so, what's wrong? I kept blinking and like wiping my eyes, and I'd run my, you know, turn on the water and do the windshield wipers, you know, because of the pollen. And I was like, why can't I see? I can't see nothing. I was driving with my readers on. You can't see out of readers when you're driving. And just in case you didn't know, I see really well in the distance. I just can't see nothing close up. So I'm glad those cars were not close enough for me to see. I'm just saying, because that'd have been a trouble. I embarrassed myself this morning. Of course, that's really nothing unusual. I got out of the car and I got this little bucket on wheels that I carry all my files back and forth in. And I take it out of the back of my car and I set it down on the ground and I raise the little thing up. It's like those people you see running through the airport pulling their little bucket behind, or their, you know, luggage, I think's what it's called, but mine's a bucket. And I see Brian, who is one of our installers, standing over at the garages. He was loading up his stuff for the day, and he, you know, does the wave. I turned loose of my bucket to do like this and turned around to grab my bucket, and my bucket was rolling off in the other direction. I had to turn around and chase it. At least I made him laugh, you know. I mean, at least I made him laugh, but I was like, you are the most awkward person ever. I mean, really? But, I mean, in my defense, I was carrying my cup in my left hand, and I had my purse over my head, and probably had my phone in my hand, and keys, and dragging that bucket. So, that, yeah, whatever. There's not much of an excuse for that, you know. Just embarrass myself. But anyway, it's the end of the day, and I'm on my way home. And, well, no, I'm not. I'm on the way to the bank to make a deposit, and then I'll be on my way home. So, I don't know what kind of wonderfulness awaits me at home, but I can tell you this, those poor little puppies are not going to be happy that they're not going to get to go for a walk. I mean, we can try a little, but it's going to be raining, and they're not going to want to walk. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to want to walk in the rain. I mean, they might, if it's barely sprinkling, they will. But if it's raining, they ain't going to walk. And I don't blame them. I don't want to walk either. It works for me, though, because I got enough to do that skipping a walk could, you know, really help me. Could really help me in life. But anyway, you know, people should ask me my opinion before they paint their house, you know, because I would tell them that is not a good color for you house. Yeah, like that pink one over there. That's not a good color. Pink is a good Victorian color. I could even see a pink color at the beach, a particular kind of pink. I probably shouldn't talk about this because somebody might have a pink house and get offended. But this isn't a neighborhood for a pink house. You know what I'm saying? They're them brick traditionals. That's not a pink house. No, it's not. Well, anyway, here we are at the end of the video. I just wanted to pop in and say bye. Yeah, that's all I got. I ain't got a another thing to say to y'all, except y'all want to see my door. I mean, I still haven't touched up the trim on it. I like it, and you know what? That's all that matters, right? It does look very green on this door. I mean, it is very green, but anyway, I like it. I don't care. Because like I said, I'll paint it again before too long. I'm thinking about painting this room, this whole big old room. This used to be the garage, and the garage was closed in and made into a den, and they built the fireplace. So I was thinking about painting the walls kind of like a cream or a bone color, you know, just kind of like an off-white, and then painting my fireplace more like a charcoal color, because my couch is light gray. So, I don't know. It's still in the it's still in the thought process. I'm not sure about it yet, but you know that you will be the first to know if I do decide to paint. I don't know why I do this to myself, but I just like changing colors. But that's a big room to paint. Anyway, I'm gonna go feed my dogs, and I'm gonna feed myself, and I'm gonna prepare for my next phone call coming in. But I'm just glad I got my video done before 6 o'clock, and that way I don't have to worry about it this evening after I get off all my phone calls. So anyway, y'all have a great rest of your day, and remember that I love you and Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Oh, and I hope he's coming back soon, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, goodbye. Goodbye.